Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody, Militia Man and Crew here. I want to say, hope everybody's having a good evening, and I'm looking forward to finishing a wonderful video for you guys tonight. Hey, but on a sad note, I just want to let you all know that we have Wally, Winnie, and we have Ophelia, and we had Totoro. But Totoro she had passed a while ago because of hyperthyroid disease for cats, and also her daughter, which is Ophelia, she just passed on Saturday because hyperthyroid is I don't know, it seems to be a pandemic or just really bad, and it's not just the United States, it's around the world. Don't know for sure what's causing it. Maybe it's in the food. I don't know. But anyway, she passed, but she was always a sport, and she's going to be missed, and we loved her and her ma, Totoro. But we have Wally and Winnie, and they're still around, but you know what? They're a year and a half old or older now, and they're very independent. And they come and go. You guys will see them walking around, but know that they're loved and they're well taken care of right now. Interesting how kitties work. They do have emotion, and Wally has been, well, both of them in their own way have been very attentive to her needs before she passed, and then now they're very subdued. Because of it. So, hey, cats and animals have emotions, you guys. But hey, the good part is that Ophelia had a wonderful life with us, and she enjoyed coming on our show, but she won't be coming back. So anyway, we'll start off tonight, and with just some news, you guys. The launch of the International Chamber of Commerce in Iraq. This is an interesting article because why are they talking about this? Well, we all know that they have chambers of commerce. The United States does, and the international chambers of commerce. Okay, or at least this particular case. It says today the International Chamber of Commerce was launched in Iraq after long work in cooperation with the Federation of Iraqi Chambers of Commerce and the State Shura Council and the Ministry of Trade. Says that we have made great efforts with the International Chamber of Commerce to obtain the ICC license in Iraq, stressing that we achieved great success in this field. And this is the kicker here, is because this is geared around investors. Okay, now arbitration has become available inside Iraq with the support of the government, especially Prime Minister Mohammed Al-Sistani, who is a major supporter of the Iraqi economy. The step will encourage foreign investors and international companies to enter the Iraqi market and work in it. So, if you think about arbitration, if in the past to have disputes, you'd have to go outside the country, expensive, not cost effective. And investors, when they want to come in, they want to have ease of use, and they want to come in and know that they can do the things that they do. They know that disputes are common at times, and so they prefer to probably save money, time, effort, all that. And so now that they have the ability to have arbitration in the country within its borders, is a good sign. And it also, not only is it a good sign for the investors, but it's a good sign that Iraq is going international, you guys. That's the cool part. So we're just basically now watching the real Iraq get started. She's basically getting ready to showcase herself, and that's opening doors to internationalism, and this is what this article is about. So fascinating times that we're seeing, fascinating times they're having. So let's see how it turns out. But I think it's a positive side of things like no other of late. Okay, so one of the things that they're talking about here too is Iraq is focusing on their banking sector. In this Yasser al-Mutawali says these days have been growing interest in the banking sector, both the government and the private side. It says this comes amidst a noticeable shift in attention towards the banking sector through government allocating significant time in light of great responsibilities, which means its awareness that all economic activities, including the implementation of strategic projects and means of encouraging investment, like what I just mentioned, require a solid banking sector to implement its economic programs. So when you start tying things together, you start seeing a painting being put onto the canvas. And Iraq is painting an international picture that they're going to be international here shortly. That's my view. Among results of the government movement represented by the interest in the government sector and in parallel, it was recently announced that the final touches had been completed for the lending strategy, which comes to correct the course of random and non-targeted loans. So one of the things that we're going to probably see a little bit later tonight, oh, it's not even later, it's in this article. I thought there was two. But anyway, in summary of these objectives that they have behind them, increasing government interest in the banking sector, hence the realization of the importance of the banking sector in achieving sustainable development. The key buzzwords, I know that a lot of people out there think that sustainable development has lots of different meanings, and I probably agree with you, but the bottom line is that they use it on a regular basis now. It's a global trend, so we'll just let that go. It is what it is. In addition to the readiness to launch the activity of the RIYADA Bank, you guys remember the small, medium enterprises are the backbone of all economies, just about in the first world, I guess you could call it. It says to support small projects within the objectives of providing job opportunities for the young, for the youth, as well as providing some market requirements for goods, commodities, and products that reduce the import process, that absorbs foreign currency. So again, less imports. Then that's a good thing. There's no doubt that launching trading in the third issue of the government bonds, okay, they've done it again, third issue, involves achieving the same reform. What are they doing? They're achieving bonds, they're soaking up money off the street, effectively. Okay, for what? To be able to lend, where? Through the RIYADA Bank. Okay, that hoarded money that we've been talking about, that's part of this whole process. Okay, it says involves achieving the same reform and development goals and falls within the government's interest in the banking sector, which will contribute to their sale and trading. So here's another sign of the country that is setting the stage for internationalism. They've got bonds to get the hoarded money into circulation. What is it going to be used for? For lending. And that is basically, the RIYADA Bank will be jump-starting that. And I think that's another very good telling sign that Iraq is now just about ready to open her doors. I guess what's needed is probably the exposure of the 2024 budget investment side. The amendments that were done to the 2024 budget have yet to be exposed. So interestingly enough, we're going to talk about some of that tonight. So here it says the Transport Department announces completion of initial design phase of development road project. It's land and rail routes. It says the Ministry of Transport announced today, Sunday, the completion, which was yesterday, of course, initial design phase of development road with its land and all routes by 100%. So the design set up. Initial designs for 2 tracks of the land and railway development project have been completed, 100%. In addition to the topographic surveys and soil investigations, of course, all those things will be needed to do the engineering for that type of stuff. The second meeting of the Ministerial Council for the development project was held in Baghdad 2 days ago in the presence of the ministers of transport from Iraq, Turkey, Emirati, and Qatari. All of them were there, and that's a big thing. Has to deal with the quadripartite group of people, I believe. I think there was someone else that was probably in there, but anyway, UAE, I guess it was, and then they use Emirati. It says that the Ministry of Transport reviewed the development road plan and what the project has achieved in the initial design stage and completion rates, as well as the 5 projects in the Grand Faw port. 5 projects, I believe, were the 5 berths. Okay, the project rates in the port have reached very advanced stages. Well, here it is, 5 berths. Project has been completed by 100%. While work continues on the expressway, linking the Grand Port and Qasr port with a length of about 62 kilometers. Okay, they go on to talk about that. the submerged tunnel issue. Everything has rates of completion that are excellent. That's where we're at. And so they are basically pushing full steam ahead. They're not stopping. She just needs, I believe, her 2024 budget to be opened as soon as possible to pay for that stuff. Allocating money for all the materials that they're going to need is going to be very key. So now the president, Rashid, and Al-Sistani consider the election of this new president, the Speaker of the Parliament, as an important step, supporting assigning the government to complete the achievement of its targets. The Prime Minister, Cash-Al-Sistani, received on Sunday the President of the Republic, Abdul Latif Jamal Rashid, and it says that the important step it constitutes in supporting the government to complete the achievement of its targets, implement its development plans and programs combating poverty and unemployment, for improving services, combating corruption, achieving comprehensive economic reforms in order to enhance stability and social security throughout the Iraq. So basically, what are they doing? They're finalizing the comprehensive economic reforms, and as far as I'm concerned, fine by me. It's time to open the budget and start the spending on those projects. The Federal Reserve, the President of the Federal Supreme Court receives the Speaker of Parliament today. Okay, so that's pretty interesting, is because what do we have? We're waiting for the laws to be exposed. And so who's involved with laws? Well, the Federal Supreme Court is. And so he has met with the Speaker of Parliament today. The Speaker of Council of Representatives, Mohammed Mashahandani, the President of the Federal Supreme Court, Judge Hahim Mohammed Aboud Al-Amiri, well, I'm going to call him Amiri, okay? The foundations of the principle of separations of powers according to the Iraqi Constitution. It says the President of the Federal Supreme Court judge received the Speaker of Council of Representatives at the headquarters of the Federal Reserve. Why do I keep doing that? Federal Supreme Court, because we have a Federal Reserve Bank, you guys. Sorry. But anyway, it says here the Chief Justice of the Federal Supreme Court welcomed Mashadani, and they're basically met to do what? Meet with and deal with procedures for implementing the Constitution, adhering to the limits of the constitutional powers, principles of separation of powers, basically with integration, cooperation. They're looking for what? Peaceful transfer of power. Their goal is building a modern civil state based on citizenship. And so by them doing this today, it looks like the transfer of power is serious. They need to be in a situation where it happens smooth and everybody understands the importance of it. The pending issues that are going to be surrounded by that are going to be for the citizens and having the legislative and judiciary working in conjunction with one another, etc. So it's going to be big, because now that the constitutional entitlement to having a speaker is done, now we need the constitutional entitlements for the citizens to pay them. They're localizing the salaries. They're going to do that. How are they going to do that? Electronically. They're going to do that on their cards. Okay? There's a gentleman by the name of Shah who's shared with me some of his opinions of what he reads in Arabic, and believes that the process to bring in that hoarded money has been underway for quite a while now. Conversation we had Thursday of last week. So see how it goes. But ultimately, they're really drawing in that money. Those 3 sales of bonds, drawing in money. And then what are they going to do? The RIYADA Bank, they're going to use that money for lending. For what? Jump-starting the economy into a market economy. Al-Sistani directs to localize salaries, private sector, employees, and to remove cash from government institutions. So removing the cash from the government institutions tells you a story too. What are they going to be doing? They're going to be doing payments electronically. It's more fast, it's more efficient, it's more documented, it's transparent, it's anti-corruption. Okay, that's where they're headed. Okay, so it says in the news outlets, it says implementation of the financial and economic reforms approach, which represents one of the most important priorities of the government. The Prime Minister directed that a number of steps be taken to enhance and develop electronic payment systems and services, working to localize the salaries of private sector employees, similar to the government sector, and assigning the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs and the Central Bank of Iraq, I like that, the Central Bank of Iraq, with the participation of a number of private sector institutions to prepare an appropriate mechanism for this purpose. So they have a time limits on this. It's going to go out for a little while, but they're obviously going to grow, get it started, and get it done at some point in time, because you got 40 million people you have to deal with. But here, they're getting started on it, and basically what is it? There's a significant importance to streamlining the electronic payment systems, and that's my view on that. And streamlining at this stage of the game is obvious that they're not changing any patterns. They're moving forward. So you guys remember that the MM&C, when he talks, the people of Iraq and in the Muslim world pay attention. The Grand Ayatollah is a very powerful man and to be respected, and he is, and he has things to say. One of the things that he did today was he welcomed the presence of the United Nations in Iraq. He welcomed the presence of the United Nations in Iraq and wished its mission success in carrying out its tasks. He pointed to the major challenges facing Iraq at the present time and the suffering of its people on more than one level. He said that Iraqis, especially the conscious elites, he's targeting the elites, should learn from their experiences they have gone through and do their utmost to overcome their failures and work hard to achieve a better future for their country in which everyone enjoys security, stability, progress, and prosperity. Powerful language, everybody. Think about that coming from him. He stressed that this cannot be achieved without preparing scientific and practical plans to assuming positions of responsibility, preventing foreign interference in all its forms, but yet enforcing the rule of law, restricting weapons to the state, and combating corruption at all levels. So he's targeting the elites. They should learn from their experiences or their mistakes, and they should do their utmost to overcome their failures and work hard to achieve a better future for the country, to enjoy security and stability and progress and prosperity. So by him saying that, going after the corrupt, don't interfere with Iraq going international effectively. And that's powerful language coming from him. I don't know that in the 15 years that I've been invested in Iraq that I've heard Al-Sistani say things like that, and at the same time welcoming the United Nations. By extension, that's the United States too. Okay? It's not just the United States, it's the United Nations. So anyway, remember what they talked about at the UN Assembly meeting with Al-Sistani talking about the savior of the financial system? I do. I think the people in Iraq remember that too. Do they remember to provide confidence for them in Davos? Do you guys remember that? What was it? Provide confidence to who? International financial system and the largest banking people in the world. So anyway, what he's warning to the elites to straighten up, fly right, as my mom would say, and failures to learn from them and get it right, you probably better get focused in on it. You wouldn't want a fatwa on your back for making the man mad. So anyway, good sign that Al-Sistani. I think there was about 3 different articles out about him today. So that's pretty interesting. They pretty much all say the same thing, but they're talking about integrity. They're talking about integrity. You got to have that. And I think that's one of the things that Militia Man and crew take pride in. We have integrity. And we try to play by the rules. I wish that some of our members would do so. I think 99.9% do, but not always. Okay? So anyway, The Ministerial Council for Economy, taking the necessary measures and decisions that contribute to the market stability. So they've had a 33rd meeting. So when these guys first came out was when? Was when Al-Sistani arrived. He put the team together, I believe it was in November 28th, all on the same day, a whole laundry list of people. And in this body right here, in this article called the Ministerial Council of Economy, taking the necessary measures and decisions that contribute to market stability, is in our Patreon, patreon.com/MMANDCREW. Come on in, check it out. And don't forget, Discord chat room is full of articles, upwards of 50 to 60 a day sometimes. Samson knocks it out of the park. We have Gigi. She does a wonderful job. She puts the compilations together, and she does a chit-chat room. It's a lot of work, but guess what? You get to get the good content in a formatted manner. She works hard on that, you guys. So thank you very much, Gigi. Thank you, Samson, and everybody that helps us out. We appreciate it. And thank you for those folks that do send us information and send it through private messages so that we can go over the news and we can vet it and such. Okay? Just posting it sometimes creates a little bit of a problem and gets a little chaotic, and so that's why we have rules. So thank you for being considerate, and we appreciate it 100% and wholeheartedly. So anyway, this article, which is about the Ministerial Council of Economics, as far as I'm concerned, you guys, if you don't really know who they are, I would read who they are, because it has to do with the top of the gene pool over there, which is the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Chairman of the Ministerial Council for the Economy, Faw-3 is involved. Ministerial Council of Economy, even when it's being held, it contains people like the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Ministers of Finance, Agriculture, Industry, the Secretary General of the Council of Ministries, the Central Bank of Iraq, Chairman of the Securities Commission, his advisors from the Prime Minister, the Economic and Legal Affairs. See what I'm saying? It's the top minds of the country, all in Iraq, working through and with the largest entities in the world through the United States Treasury, the U.S. Federal Reserve, the IMF, World Bank, Bank of International Settlements. Okay, and there's the laundry list. There's more. Basically, this session was devoted to discussing the financial and economic reality in Iraq in light of internal and external challenges, especially regional conflicts and their impact on the Iraqi economy. The Council reviewed a presentation given by the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Planning on the reality of investment projects in Iraq, whether completed or under construction, and the financial obligations associated with them. It says the Council also listened to working papers presented by the ministers that included main challenges facing the Iraqi economy and its financial and economic aspects. The Council discussed the rates of the state's general revenues, oil and non-oil resources, spending rates, and financial obligations incurred by the government. Think about it, you guys. Financial obligations incurred by the government. Well, when you have a financial obligation, what do you have to do? You're supposed to pay for something. And we haven't seen the 2024 budget exposed yet to do that. And so, obviously, they're making note of it, effectively. And then you remember who visited with the Supreme Court. It was the new president of the House of Representatives. And what's his job? Is to bring everybody together. It's fascinating. Okay. It says the council members presented a presentation on the reality of the work of the ministries and agencies, put forward proposals to maximize revenues, to support the general budget. Isn't that great? Which would contribute significantly to driving the economy and development towards growth. And it says they agreed to take the necessary measures, important economic decisions that contribute to the stability of the Iraqi market. After completing these discussions and exchanging those views and working with the papers submitted by the council members. And so look, the MCOE is the powers to be in Iraq. All of them that are involved are at the top of Al-Sistani's team. He put them together. Basically, they've got the financial and economic concerns on their plate. The financial obligations they have to go over would require payments for those obligations, which I said earlier on. All of that will be part of the investment side of the 2024 budget file. The amendments to the 2024 file have yet to be exposed. I would imagine that's been a key concern, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of the conversations that would be happening with the Supreme Court. We'll see. Al-Sistani directs the rapid departure of paper transactions in customs and the adoption of electronic transformation. So they're going to try to get far more efficient with all of the different border outlets, and they are in the process of doing that. And if they've already started. So it says basically he's on the follow-up of the procedures for automating work in customs, during which the detailed plan for implementing the second phase, so they've already started the first phase, of the automation process was reviewed. It says that the statement explained that the meeting discussed the mechanisms by which the transformation and automation process is carried out at the ports, border crossings, as 11 crossings were already completed, and most of the revenue generating and most prepared ports were targeted to transform from paper to electronic transactions first, it sounds like. And what are they doing? Maximizing the state's financial revenues. The digital transformation of Iraq is fully underway, increasing state financial revenue streams. We haven't ever witnessed this before. The systems are geared for transparency, anti-corruption, while increasing those revenue streams. And I'm sure that there's probably a lot of corruption that Al-Sistani and Sistani talks about. You better mend your ways. I would take that to heart. Okay, the last article I have here tonight is the Parliamentarian. It says 11 draft laws ready to be presented to the House of Representatives. It says the political differences for successive sessions contribute to obstructing the passage of dozens of laws, including the oil and gas law and others, despite the efforts of the political forces to move forward with them. But consensus represents an important pillar in resolving them, as this matter is and has been disputed by two people. He goes, after resolving the issue of the presidency of the House of Representatives, so that's been done, there are agreements to proceed with resolving of these laws, especially those that are already, including laws related to the security services and economic files, stressing that 11 draft laws are ready for presentation in upcoming sessions. Some of the controversial laws may be resolved in light of the political consensus that has begun to move towards resolving the differences and complications in the presence of positive climates. So basically, the new president of the House of Representatives will have a job cut out for him. I imagine that the meeting with the Supreme Court Chief Justice would have likely explained where Iraq stands on many of these key issues, especially where oil and gas are related, and the service for the citizens' constitutional rights. Those rights are related to the budget law, and the Chief Justice would have likely know fully well about that. So anyway, everybody, that's what I have for you tonight. I hope you guys enjoy. It's kind of a quick read, but to be fair, there's a lot packed in there. I think if you take it seriously and you see the picture that they're painting of going international and doing all those things, localizing salaries, for instance, fixing the cross-border payment systems, gearing up with increasing revenue streams, oil, non-oil, voting on 11 laws, oil and gas law, services for the citizens. Al-Sistani, he's talking about what? Working with the public. Get it right. You elites, straighten up, fly right. All that stuff. You see how they can, what they're doing here. You haven't seen Al-Sistani do that before. And so that's really powerful information, I think. It's exciting because they're going to need to do what? Expose the international exchange rate. I believe they're going to need to expose their exchange rate so they can get on the Forex and they can open the doors so that that investment budget, they can start paying for all those obligations that we talked about tonight. Thank you guys for being with me. I really do appreciate it. It's great to know that whenever you guys like the content, you do hit that subscribe button because we're still growing, and I appreciate the donations that come through. It helps me keep my teams working, and we have Zelle, PayPal, and Venmo. They really are important to us. Thank you very much. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.